Welcome to Extreme Media's product presentation on our OneGUI. In just a moment I will show you OneGUI in real operations. But prior to this I want to give you an insight into the product basics and the concepts. Lots of our customers are running transcoding farms, ingest applications, quality control farms, file movement tools, audio or video processing tools, or workflow applications. Most of these applications do offer client applications that are installed on the servers themselves. But not all of these products do offer client applications. Neither fat clients nor browser-based web clients. So we've addressed this gap with our OneGUI. OneGUI sits in the middle of all of these applications and acts as a kind of spider. It collects runtime data from all these third-party applications and presents those runtime data to operators, internal users, or external customers. OneGUI is based on a Tomcat application server and a MySQL database. We've implemented plugins per third-party product that fetches continuously the status updates from this third-party product into our cache database. That is done in a way where we only fetch the delta from the last update fetch. The reason for that is that we've got customers that have farms with several hundred thousands of jobs in the queue, and we can't fetch this amount of data sets every, let's say, 10 seconds. But on the other hand, the cache database has another big advantage. It allows us to split or filter the lists of jobs that are presented to the various customers. So for example, an internal operator or even supervisor might see all the jobs. But on the other hand, you've got, let's say, an internal customer or user within your organization that may see only the jobs that are related to him. To give you an example, let's assume you're a broadcaster, you've got a news department and a sports department, then obviously you want to have the news journalists only to see and influence jobs that are related to the news, and sports or journalist or operator should influence only jobs that are related to sports. On the other hand, other customers might be in a B2B scenario where you've got external customers. Some of these external customers are competitors. So obviously you do not want your customer A to be able to see or influence jobs of customer B and vice versa. So the cache database gives us the opportunity to apply what we call backend filters. Obviously, the user can filter on the front end as well. I will show you in a moment. Now let's log on to OneGUI. OneGUI requires the user to authenticate. I will use my admin user. Obviously, this will give me the superset of all functionality that I want to show you. On the left-hand side, we've got a long list of jobs. The length of this page can be set as a variable. Usually we have pages of 50 jobs. And as you can see here in this test environment, we've got currently 482 pages. On the left-hand side, we will see all the jobs that are running or have been running in this environment. So let's take this harmonic WFS job from a watch folder that's called test watch and this file. Then on the right hand side the task list is shown that belongs to that job. When I click on one of the tasks, I'm getting the task properties. Now, this workflow has just 2 tasks. For that reason, there's not that much information shown here. Now, there are various ways how I can filter for jobs. I could filter by name, for example. There are jobs, as we can see here, that are all about a file called one.mxf. As you can see here, we've got now filtered down the list to 189 pages. But let's say I'm interested in a particular job from a particular time that I'm currently searching. And as we can see, there are jobs from 2016 right now and 2017 displayed. Let's filter for some of the ones from, let's say, February 2017. The easiest way to do so is I'm filtering by the create date. So back to February. Let's say I'm filtering from the 1st to the last of February to keep things simple. That will limit the list down to around about 10 jobs. There's one that is still queued for whatever reason. There are others that have been failing. Again, we can click on the jobs and we'll get all the details about what has happened here. Other possibilities to filter are given by priority. So for example, here are some jobs with priority 3, others with priority 5. And I can also filter by system. System means the farm that the OneGUI is currently connected to. As you can see here, our OneGUI is connected to 2 WFS farms, 1 Capella farm, 1 mock solutions, SpeedRail farm, to a Signion system, a Bayton system, and a Telestream Vantage. So, filtering to WFS2, I will end up with just 1 job. And this can help operators or supervisors to find jobs when journalists are complaining. On the other hand, we've got the overview here as well about all our farm status. That gives me an update all the time about running, queued, done, failed, and paused jobs. With a right mouse click, I can control the job. So for example, I can change the priority. In this case, it was a priority 5. Can change that. But this job is not running anymore, so I would need to requeue it. Now let's get back some more jobs to show you the other functionality. I can resume jobs, I can pause jobs, I can abort or stop jobs. So the most important controls are available. But I'm an administrator, and obviously we do not want every person that logs onto the system, let's say a journalist, to be able to abort or delete a job. Probably we want him only to change the priority. That is done in the administration. So when changing the URL to admin, I will get access to the backend where all this functionality is configured. Here in the backend, users and roles are configured. So for example, that very moment I'm logged on as administrator. I've got an email address and a password. And I'm member of the group or role admins. There's no backend filter defined for me. So that means I can see all jobs, all details, and I will have all controls. Let's select my colleague Michael. Michael is part of the groups user and job details. He will not have all the functionalities available. And the same applies to someone who's called test, but test has an additional filter defined on a regular expression. That means he can see only jobs that are related to test watch. Let's reset his password. I will use him later on to log on and to show you what happens. Let's have a look for the groups. As said, my administrator is part of the group admins. He has access to all the various details. So for example, he can use the controls like abort pause, change the priorities, requeue and resume. He can see all the errors. He can see the machine informations, task priorities, the task details, and all the header information. In contrast to that, my other users from the group user, like Michael, David, and Test, they can only see the tasks, but no task details. They will have the information in the header, but they do not have access to any controls. So they can't stop or a job or pause it or change a priority or whatsoever. My operator has no special functionality enabled for him. And someone who is in the group of job details will see only the header information and task details and task properties. Now, how does that all work? Let's switch back to the other user. And to make that happen, let's log out. There was my user called test.test. I hope I remembered the password correct. Access to the controls on the right mouse click. As you can see, he can see all the task details and job details, but when I press the right mouse, what I'm doing just right now, he will not get access to any controls. What you have spotted probably as well is that the menu here is missing. So he cannot open the additional pop-up windows. I should show you what these pop-up windows are all about. Let's re-log in as administrator. Administrator has access to this window. The pop-up windows are used to show the machine status of my harmonic WFS farm number 1, for example. This machine is currently online, the other one is offline. And for that reason, all the green bubbles to reflect that the services are available, and on the other machine, it shows that they're all not available. The reason for that is one machine is currently running, the other one is turned off. The concept of this window in window allows us also to show statistics. So for example, we can generate a pie diagram that gives us information about all the jobs that have been running per system. So for example, both harmonic farms have been running more jobs than the Signiant, Advantage, and the Interabaton farms. But I could also show jobs by, let's say, the lengths. Unfortunately, there are no information available. Or the time per job. So how long it took to process the jobs. You can also show jobs that took longer than 30 minutes to start. There's no such job. all of the jobs have been processed immediately. So the idea of that statistics windows is to give you a feeling whether you are performing within your SLAs. There's one more window, what is our ingest browser, an application to start processings within various transcoding farms and workflow tools. I will show you ingest browser in a different session. For that moment, I say thank you for attending and listening. Please make contact with us when you are interested to get more details, a trial or remote demo. Thank you so much. See you soon on our website www.x-3-media.com.